It's mailbag time. The 3 best words in fantasy football. Welcome, everybody, to Fantasy Football Today, presented by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Adam Azer here with Jamie Eisenberg and Dan Cheater. Schneider.
What?
Here we go.
You better be kidding.
A lot of people. You read the comments.
Yeah, I saw the comment about that point at 58-46. First of all, I went back and watched that point. It looks in, but it's not in. I'm right there on the ball mark, and it's literally out. And anything you see from that long distance, from that video angle, is not correct. Like, I'm right on the ball. Not to mention, and I watched the whole thing. There was a point later in the match where I called it in and it was out, and Jamie and Heath Jamie and Heath, I'm all flustered now. Jamie and Heath were like, oh, that was out, and he called it in. So, like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I was literally right on that shot. I could have easily hit it back and whipped the winner, but I'm not going to call a ball that's out in. I'm not going to call a ball that's out in.
You could have whipped the winner on a lob that was all the way back at the baseline.
That was out, dude. There's a literal ball mark. You can come over and look at it next time.
You could have hit a winner from there. Like you could have.
No, I'm talking about the one at 58-46 that I see in the comments that people are all mad about. It's like, dude, it looks, and I looked at it. I was like, yeah, from that angle, it looks in. It wasn't in. I'm right at the ball, like setting up for my shot. But I'm not going to call a ball that's out in. If there's a ball mark and it's out, well, then it's out. I'm calling it out. I don't need to just give you free. Like, it's not even about that. Like, I'm just not going to call a ball that's clearly on clay out in.
I'm just kidding with you.
I need to cheat to beat you.
Adam, before the show, don't linger on anything.
Yeah, he started that. Okay? By the way, today I'm giving the listeners and the viewers a little look into my life here. You see this taking off a screen door. We got paint cans behind me. This is what I'm living in. Okay. This is why you see me record in front of a refrigerator and a brick wall, because it's all I got to work with. It's that or the bathroom again. And I'm not going back to the bathroom.
It was just a mistake. I didn't mean to say it. It just popped out. But listen, we all know the reason why Dan is so ornery today. It's because of the dinner he ate last night, which I'm going to show you a picture of in a little bit.
Oh, man.
YouTube.com/.
That was another mistake.
All right. So we got your emails at fantasyfootball@cbsi.com. Your Apple Podcast questions, your Draftathon questions, your YouTube questions and comments. If this is your first mailbag, again, fantasyfootball@cbsi.com. That's the letter I. That's the best way to reach us. But also, if you leave that Apple Podcast comment, it's a good chance it's going to get read. Leave us a 5-star review. Tell people why you love our show. Help our show grow even more so we can keep raising more money for St. Jude, But yeah, we get a little goofy on the mailbag, so just get ready for it. Let's start with, though, a quick round of emails. And this one is from, hold on one second. He wanted me to use the soundbite. This is from Evil Eric. There we go. Dear Adam, Jamie, Dave, and Heath, answer to the names is below. Kind of a generic, this is pretty funny, by the way. Kind of generic question. I have the 6th pick, and personally, I think Lamb, Jefferson, or Barkley will be there, and I plan on taking whichever one of the 3 is available. My fear is that 2 are available. So my question is, which position this year is the more important of the 2 to take in the first round? I guess, which do you view as more top-heavy? In other words, if you have players that you value equally, 1 running back and 1 wide receiver, which position is more important to take in the first round? Oh, and the names are the names of the 4 porcelain dolls I have in my attic.
That's great. I prefer CD Lamb of that group. And I think if you're looking at it from setting up your 2nd round pick, you say it's being 6th?
Yeah.
So the 2 most likely players you could be looking at, depending on who, I said 3 most likely players you could be looking at, depending who falls, would be Drake London, Josh Jacobs, and Brock Bowers. That's assuming A.J. Brown's gone. We'll see how this hamstring injury plays itself out. And obviously, there's could be quarterbacks could be pushed up there. Brock Bowers could be gone, pushing some other players down. It's just, I guess I'll say London or Brown could be the receiver you're looking at there. And then that running back group, to me, is led by Jacobs. So it's Jacobs, Taylor, Chase Brown, Bucky Irving, that group. So for me, I'm taking Lamb. And then depending on how many receivers you start, you may take receiver, or you may go Lamb and Jacobs.
In a vacuum, I will take Lamb, but I actually am starting it from a snake draft standpoint as we're working through more of these mock drafts. And by the way, I think if you guys are interested in just kind of preparing for your drafts this weekend, go check out our site, cbssports.com/fantasy. We have tons of mock drafts up there, so you can kind of parse through and build your strategy based on where players are coming off the board. Thanks to Jamie for organizing all of those and writing them up. And I'll say this from a snake draft standpoint, despite preferring Lamb in a vacuum, I'm going running back early because I love the value of wide receiver and the depth of wide receiver in the rounds 4 to 6 range. So I actually want to build that. And I'm never this type of drafter. I always prefer wide receivers early for the anti-fragility argument. I'd rather. But as recent studies have shown, I think, Adam, you did a good job of breaking this down maybe 2-3 months ago on the show. Injuries are not as guaranteed to happen to the running backs, wide receivers, as we kind of assume they are. So with that in mind, plus the depth at wide receiver in rounds 4 to 6, I'm taking running backs early. I'm even starting some with running back. I started a draft today that we did that'll be on the site probably either later this afternoon or Monday, maybe Monday, since we had 2 hit the site today. Running back. And so that never used to happen for me, but I'm more open to it based on the depth at wide receiver.
Well, first of all, it wouldn't be a mailbag if I didn't correct you. It's cbssports.com/fantasy, not a backslash.
Why do you hate the backslash? Everybody knows the backslash. Everybody uses the backslash.
It's not a backslash.
I know, but everybody knows what I mean by that.
You say slash.
No, everybody knows what I mean. Nobody needs that corrected. Okay, Adam.
Why
don't you do us a favor and throw on that kid's small Miami shirt that I heard about on the stream last night when I rewatched it? I want to see that thing because I haven't seen it yet.
One person needs that corrected. We sort of have taken the approach.
You can't critique shirts after your brother was giving you crap for wearing your mediums.
No, he said it best. He said I was between medium and large as a human being. And that's because I had put on a lot of weight and then I lost a lot of weight. So it's hard to figure out my size. I don't really fit into anything great. This shirt seems to be fine. Like, look at this.
We'll call you Marge.
Your brother also said the Schneiers are very barrel-chested men.
Yeah, he's right about that. We have issues with the chat. It just, no matter what we do, it just pops out.
You said you're between medium and large. So I said, we'll call you Marge.
You want to laugh for that? Because it's not great.
I know. In all seriousness, it's kind of contrary to what we've been saying, that wide receivers not so deep. I mean, it's deep in a sense that there's a lot of really good wide receiver 2 candidates, but once you get to round 3 and 4, there's pretty big drop off between that group and the one that ends with Brian Thomas Jr., Puka Nacua, and Nico Collins, and then AJ Brown, and Drake London after that. So we sort of say you probably want to come out of your first 2 picks with at least one wide receiver, especially in a 3-receiver league. It's not a requirement, but it's not a bad idea. I would take Lamb, and I would say I wouldn't even think about round 2. I'd just take the best player there at pick 6. You never know who's going to fall to you. Don't I would just take Lamb. I think we all have Lamb the highest in that trio.
Yeah. I'm just curious. He said at 6 he's expecting Lamb, one of Lamb, Barkley, Jefferson, or potentially 2.
Yeah.
So that would mean in the first 5 picks we're talking about Chase, Robinson,
Gibbs,
McCaffrey, Achane. Like, who's going ahead of those guys?
Neighbors, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. All right, next email from Ryan. I'm a big fan of the show all the way from Ireland. And nope, not going to do it. I struggle to really
do it. Come on. Irish accent?
I was going to try, lad, but
that's like Indian.
I figured out.
What? You sound like the dude from The Simpsons.
Who?
Abu.
Apu? I said that sound like Apu.
You did. And listeners confirm that sounded way more like an Indian accent than an Irish accent.
Yeah, well, it was on the spot. I wasn't even expecting to do it. I'm having trouble separating the late round. Damn, you're right. Late round ADP at receiver and finding good value. Who are the late round wide receivers that Ryan should target in Ireland?
How late are we talking here?
Picks 100 through 160.
Keon Coleman's probably one of my favorite guys in this range. I'm trying to think who goes that late. I still like Richard Burden.
Olave's not going that late.
Is Olave not going? Is Pearsall going that late still or no?
Technically, but I don't think it's going to be.
Yeah, I'm skeptical of the 80.
Christian Kirk is a good one. Depending on how late we want to go. Demario Douglas is one of my favorites. Cedric Tillman, somebody I take late. Rashid Shaheed, Romeo Dobbs now. Marvin Mims is a good one. These are all much later. Darnell Mooney is somebody. One of the commenters just posted that. That's a good call.
Pop Douglas.
Yeah, I said Demario Douglas. If this Josh Downs injury is significant, Michael Pittman, who I think is already underrated a little bit.
Yeah, and if Emeka Buka might still be there, so that'd be
no, there's no chance he's going to be there.
I don't know. You never know, but not in
home
our
league.
draft.
I think there's a chance.
Right, in
I
home
also
league.
feel the same way with Golden. I think there's an outside chance he falls in a home league.
Listen, I feel like there's an outside chance that you haven't signed up yet for BetMGM. You're making a big mistake, but you got a great opportunity to use the promo code FANTASY when you sign up at BetMGM, and you're going to get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app, sign up, use the bonus code FANTASY, deposit at least $10, and place your first wager on any game. And if that bet loses, you're going to get up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Just make sure that you use the bonus code FANTASY when you sign up. Next question is from Tyler in New York City. Fantasy breakouts can often be found by identifying underrated offenses. Think about last year's Bucks.
Good take.
Yeah, no, it is a great take. Who are these year's underrated offenses? I'm personally interested in the Panthers and Falcons.
Falcons for sure for me, especially if Mooney's healthy. I like the setup for what their defense looks like and what their offensive coaching staff showed us a little bit last year, especially if you just go by points per game. Penix averaged over 30 points per game as a starter last year. I don't think that was all him, clearly, but two top-end fantasy talents when you talk about, the running back and the number one receiver. And I like the other parts in certain regards to the second receiver and the tight end, but that's one I like. I don't think the Panthers are a bad call. I like the Patriots. I think they're going to be a surprise offense. Josh McDaniels back there. Drake May taking a step forward. I like some of the young pieces that they added, bringing in Stephon Diggs. Miami can easily bounce back. I mean, that's a fairly obvious one, just based on where they were a year ago with all the injuries, and if they can get their bleep together.
Right.
We saw what they were 2 years ago when Tua led the NFL in passing yards, and a lot of big games there.
Yeah, and they were top 10 in offense when Tua was healthy last year too.
Yeah.
And they could be top 5, but they're also having a just horrible offseason and apparently had a just dreadful joint practice against the Lions last week. They followed it up with a much better one, but not a lot of good practice.
There's a big reason for that, though.
What?
Both receivers sat out the first practice. Waddle came back the second practice.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like the Panthers call. I'm really getting pretty optimistic about them. Maybe I don't want to be overreacting here. I don't know that there are any sleepers on that offense other than Young. Coker, like I had read that Coker was not even playing with the starters, that it was like he wasn't playing in the slot anymore because they've got.
It kind of depends if Thielen does get traded. I'm with you on that.
They have Renfro now, and Coker was playing like outside behind Leggett.
Oh,
that's what I had read.
That.
Now was
I have a feeling Jalen Coker is going to be this year's Dontavian Wicks. Like we like him a lot more than he produces.
That's fair. The big ones for me are the Jags and the Texans. I think they're both wildly underrated in fantasy and could both be really good offenses.
Jacksonville's a great call, especially with Liam Cohen there.
I think the Texans, man, their schedule's super easy passing wise. They have to throw. They have no run game.
Teams have,
and mostly I want to make it clear, Texans pass game for me, not run game.
Both of those teams have kind of bad lines.
They do, and that's why they're ranked low.
Yeah. Okay. And we never know how the lines are going to play. Just what it looks like on paper. Brandon says, I find myself leaving my drafts with too many rookies. Well, he put a question mark after that. I know it's a fairly good class with a lot of potential, but I've had multiple drafts where I have 5 or 6 rookies on my teams. Usually most or all of Hampton, Caleb Johnson, Tedero McMillan, Tyler Warren, Golden, Abuka, sometimes Harvey and Hunter get added too. Dan, is it too many rookies?
I mean, you're asking the wrong guy. I'm a very rookie heavy drafter, even in redrafts. So for me, no, but there is a question because I think back in the day, and this has really changed year over year over year, and it's trending in the direction of you used to get these guys at much deeper and better ADPs than you get them now. They're really pushed up the board. There's a lot of fantasy analysis out there. Twitter's just showing, in my opinion, you just get great information off of that as well. Analysts and what we do on the show, we have multiple shows, multiple times a week. Like these guys, their values are no longer great. So I think at some point I do have to consider altering that strategy as soon as my drafts this year and maybe opting to take the players who have proven themselves a little bit over some of these guys.
I don't think, though, based on the players that he listed, depending on when he drafted, because you're right, the ADP does get sort of out of control in our drafts. We just got through going through late round ADP, and you guys made the case, which could still be happening. Abuka later, Golden later. Like, we don't know where those guys will end up. But in the case, like, read the names again.
Hampton, we have news on that too. Is the Athletic kind of guessing that Najee Harris is going to start the season? Projection.
Yeah.
Projecting that Najee Harris is going to start the season on the PUP list.
And NFI list. I'm sorry, I told you the wrong thing.
Okay, it's the same time frame though, isn't it?
The projection would be NFI list and miss the first 4 games.
Okay, I'm not 100% sure if you have to miss the first 4 games on NFI. You do on PUP. Hampton, Caleb Johnson, Tedero McMillan, Tyler Warren, Golden, Abuka. Look, we got this amazing rookie running back class coming in. Like I said on our running back show, if you don't leave your draft with at least one, I think you're making a mistake. But now, yeah, I'm all about getting a lot of them. But when after a Monday show, after preseason week 1, Jamie, you were talking about Harvey and Henderson in round 3, and that starts to make me, and Hampton too, right? I mean,
that's when it gets to the point where you.
So but again, I think just listening to those names, if you again, I'll just sort of play it out the way I think it went. You probably took Hampton in the 3-4 range. You probably took Tet in round 5. He said Hunter too.
Sometimes he said sometimes Harvey and Hunter.
So it's okay. This isn't a one team, but like if you're getting Hampton in the round 3-4 range, if you're getting Tet in the round 5 range, or Hunter in the round 5-6 range, if you're getting Abuka, let's just say right now it's round 8. I'll be conservative. Caleb Johnson's falling, so it's not like you're spending all of your heavy draft capital on these players. Like you're taking them in sort of what I would say is appropriate spots. Now, if you're walking out of it and saying my top 2 running backs are Hampton and Henderson, my top 2 wide receivers are Tet and Abuka, then it's a problem. Because you probably reach for these guys and you passed up on some quality veterans. Like I think you want to have obviously some sort of a balance, but to your point, Adam, like there's an easy path here, and it's not just again the high end guys. Like we're gonna see Bashal Tutin and Jaden Blue have roles here. We're gonna see, I think Luther Burden have roles here. Tyler Warren is gonna be, and Colston Loveland are gonna be, at some point having good, strong performances. So it's easy to sort of pick and choose which rookies you want to target or which range of rookies you want to target. But again, like if you're spending all of your draft capital on it, then it's not smart.
Yeah, I think I want to talk about Hampton real quick here, because if Najee does start the year on the NFI list, then he's out for a chunk, and Hampton gets to start the season as the guy. I know he's going to share. Dan and I were talking about this at dinner last night. Like, you can find a lot of stats about how Greg Roman has never produced a top 12 PPR running back, but it's hard to be a top 12 PPR running back when you've got Colin Kaepernick, Tyrod Taylor, Lamar Jackson as your quarterback, because those guys don't throw to their running backs. But he had almost never produced a wide receiver as good as Ladd McConkey until last year. He had a Sammy Watkins year in there. There were some other good ones, but he never had Justin Herbert before at quarterback. So I don't know that I look at those trends, man. I mean, I'm easily taking Hampton in round 3 if Najee's starting the year.
100%.
Right? I mean,
yeah.
Round 2 does feel a little rich.
It does feel rich, though. You're passing up on it.
Not 3, though.
No, 2. Yeah, like mid 3. Early round 3 at the turn is still a little rich for me, and I've seen him go there.
Yeah, some really good players there. So
he's firmly in the conversation with, right now at least, and might be ahead of them if Najee's out for 4 games, with James Cook and Ken Walker. Like I don't know how you can't put him there.
I couldn't take him over James Cook. I think, but Adam and I are alone on that island. I think we both feel. Don't you feel that Cook is wildly underrated in fantasy?
Absolutely.
I don't think he's wildly underrated now. I think he was getting to that point where he was falling in our drafts. His ADP didn't really move that much. Like 31 is not a bad spot for him.
That's actually, I do think that's an appropriate spot for him. By the way, J.K. Dobbins was on pace for 41 catches last year. That's not that bad, No. And Hampton's probably a better pass catcher than J.K. Dobbins.
Dobbins played it'll be interesting to see. I guess if Najee's on NFI, then we can get there. But the one thing, the key thing here for me is like the Bills. I trust that offensive line. People are like the Chargers' offensive line was middling, lost its best player. That's my bigger concern more than anything with Hampton.
Did you think it was middling? I thought it was good and lost its best player.
No, I thought it was middling and lost its player.
All right.
Lost its best player.
Are we going to take a quick
just to let you know, if he is on the NFI list, these are the other guys that they're projecting to make the roster. Daniel Popper of The Athletic, Hassan Haskins, Raheem Sanders, and Kamani Vidal.
Yeah.
How much is Amari Hampton coming off the field for those guys?
Get the rocket ship emojis out. Come on. All right. When we come back.
At this point, like if you're drafting this weekend, you should be looking at Hampton in round 3. Like, pull the trigger.
When we come back, what did Dan have for dinner last night? Was it great? Was it disgusting? Was it a little bit of both? Also, I want to talk about auctions because we have this question. Yeah, I'll just read it after the break. And then we'll get to your draftathon questions, more of your emails at fantasyfootball@cbsi.com, Apple Podcast, YouTube, and we'll be right back on FFT.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you. When you need your sports in a snap, find it on CBS Sports HQ, streaming free anywhere you are.
All right, everybody. So got a question here from Brandon. And nope, I just read that one. We got where's the auction one? I think I just deleted it. Whoops. There it is. From Rambo. If you do have an auction show, can you compare prices in industry expert leagues to home leagues? It seems that whenever someone quotes a value for a player, it's way different from what I see in the 2 leagues that I play in, particularly the high-end players. So, Rambo, this is exactly why I don't do a ton of auction content, although we owe you guys an auction episode, and it will happen. But they're just too unpredictable, and they're just so different. And to sit here and say, oh, Jamar Chase should go for this % of the budget or whatever. I mean, it's just every auction there's zebra stripes, They're just so different.
How could that not make it a much better format?
No, I'm not saying.
No, it's just crazy to me. Like the way you just described that, it sounds like a much better, more fun, and more strategic version of fantasy football. It's different.
It's also more time. That's the only thing I'll say.
It's just time consuming. That's the only thing, but it's one draft a year. Like you can spend a few hours on it. In my mind.
So what do you think, Jamie? Should we do what I'm thinking is we do an auction and when we just put it on YouTube, because I don't know, it might just be too long. And when I've done auctions in the past, I feel like on the air for a podcast.
Those go too long. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure it's the best content.
Not great content.
But we can give you strategies. I mean, I always say I love to keep money for like the guys that go in like rounds 3 through 5. I feel like you get great values on the not quite elite players, but the very good players who might go later in the draft, later in the auction process.
Yes.
People have already spent a lot of money and then bam, I just got Tedder McMillan for $4.
Not him, but because he's too hyped, but it will be like an unhyped guy. Yes. Like a Waddle or something.
Right. Yeah. I like to load up on
really
that.
comes down to, I think the way you explained it though, I kind of disagree with you saying that's not a good way to explain it. Like the percentage of budget for specific player.
No, it's just saying that it's so hard it's just that it's so different in there's a good way to explain it. It's just that what happens in our auction could be so different than what happens in another auction. Whereas we know Jamar Chase is going 1 or 2 in every draft, basically.
I think from an advice standpoint though, like to say you want to dedicate this percentage of your budget to this tier or these players in this tier is a good way to give people advice that can sort of be across the board, so we always, when we talk about auction salary cap drafts, is tier your players because like you want to try and buy into certain tiers if you're so inclined to. So like if you want to get one of the top 5 quarterbacks, like you're clearly going to rank them a certain way, but you're going to have them in that upper echelon of the position. And so if I want to spend 20% of my budget on that spot because I want an elite quarterback, it might be, $100 budget. You're spending, $20 on Lamar Jackson and maybe 17 on Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. What do you think about getting the last player in a tier? You don't want to do that, right? You want to get maybe the second to last player in a tier because you don't want to.
Well, I think that's where it comes down to the pricing, right? So if I view, I've been updating my tiers every week. There'll be another one coming on Monday. Sorry, Dan, to make you do more work. There's, like I put the 5 quarterbacks at the top in one tier. Because while I do value Jackson more so than I do Jalen Hurts, I think there's a clear difference between those 5 guys and the rest of the field. So if you're telling me that I'm spending $30 or we'll go with $100 budget, I'm spending $18 on Lamar Jackson, but I can get Jalen Hurts for 15. I'll take that discount because I'm still getting a player I think has a chance to be QB1.
Yeah. All right. Anything to add, Dan, before we move on from auction talk?
We'll do an episode on it. Maybe I can jump on for that. It would take too long for me to throw stuff in. I just hope people give it a shot. It's really only adding an extra hour or 2 once you get it down and once your league gets used to it to your draft. Like to me, it's like can't do an extra hour or 2 for something that's a lot better. I just really hope more people adopt auction. It's once you go to it, you never go back.
And I will say, if you can commit to it, do it in person. It's so much more.
It's so good in person. Yeah.
Yeah. I just sent out
an auctioneer, one of your friends auctioneers it, or somebody,
take somebody, go to a bar, go to a restaurant, tell somebody to buy the dinner, let them, somebody's not in the league, sibling, spouse, whatever the case may be, let them run the auction for you, coach them up on how to do it. Adam, talked about this recently. Like it's impossible and unfair, really, to try and be the auctioneer and participate in it. But if you can find somebody to do it for you and do it in person, it's so much fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, but last year, cautionary tale. Last year, I did it at a restaurant, and we were there so late that they were like basically closing. So this year, we're moving it to my house, so we don't have to worry about that. All right.
Have a bigger tab then.
They were so nice about it, but we felt awful just making them stay there on a.
So this is the counter argument to it. You know why people still prefer snake drafts? Like you're going to be investing a lot of your time in doing this, whether you're doing it online or you're doing it in person. But again, it could be one of the most fun experiences. I would highly recommend. Our audience obviously is very dedicated. We see a lot of the same people in the chat. If you have not done it and you're a fantasy football diehard, you have to do at least one. You may never go back after you do one, but please do it at least once. Like it's going to be mind blowing and change your view on how you build your fantasy teams.
What is the purpose of an auctioneer? Johnny says, I've only played auctions where the managers nominate players. Well, you can't.
Fair, to keep it fair.
Yeah, I mean, I was the auctioneer last year, and I drafted a horrible team because I'm just so busy trying to manage the auction and nominate it. You want somebody to just sit there and be like, all right, next bid is you can nominate the player, but then the auctioneer is looking for the bids. I got 15. I guess whatever. Anyway, all right, let's move on. We've spoken enough about auctions for now. Next week we're gonna.
Whoa! It's the same room.
I was taken to, I told you, this is the room that's under construction, dude. I have nothing to work with here in this house. I was trying to show the people how hard it is and what I'm dealing with, but then I got too much flack in the comments. So we're going back to the brick wall, back to the refrigerator.
I like the brick wall refrigerator.
Yeah, I don't hate it as much as people seem to on this podcast.
How about your brother saying that this peanut butter in the refrigerator thing is your not your family's?
No, it's not a family thing. It's my own thing. And listen, again, as I said on the last episode, a lot of people reached out to me after the show and said, you know what? Peanut butter in the fridge, I do it too. You're not alone. And so that made me feel better about myself.
Good for you.
Got another injury.
Who went down? Better not be a Giant.
No, I don't know if it's long-term, but Travis Hunter not going to play in the preseason game because he's dealing with an upper body injury.
Don't love that.
All right, speaking of which, next week
maybe playing 75 snaps on each side of the ball is not the greatest thing to do.
We have an email addressing this exact issue. But anyway, we have an injury doctor coming on next week. So we'll ask him about some of the most relevant players and if he's worried about Christian McCaffrey and stuff.
Injury doctor, you don't say. Nice.
We do.
I don't remember which one it was. There are a lot of great injury doctors on Twitter, at least the ones that I found to be somewhat reputable. Yeah. One suggested, did not say, and I'll find it so I can give you the name, but suggested that information that they got on Joe Mixon took them off their draft board.
Oh boy,
I did see that today. That one I'm not taking serious. I mean, like, what his private information, like that's, I don't know, Jamie.
Yeah, I'm taking it for what it's worth. Yeah. But
okay, we're getting Dr. Jesse Morse on next week. He's all over X, so he does a great job, and we'll talk to him.
This is from Jeff Mueller. Says,
yeah, I've seen him too.
I received info from 2 different people. That info has been enough for me to fully remove Joe Mixon from my board and would not reveal what the information is.
Okay. Maybe I need to be less stubborn about that. We'll see. Well, I'm going to ask Jesse Morse about it. Okay. So Draftathon questions. Thank you to all of you who donated. Very much appreciated. Tony T-Bone says, thoughts on wide receiver run. We kind of addressed this at the top, but wide receiver running back or vice versa in the first and second, and then a top 5 quarterback in the third, Kittle in the fourth. Can that work? So let's say running back receiver or receiver running back, then Jaden Daniels and George Kittle. That's exactly, actually, if you want to read our pick by pick series, that's exactly how I built my team. I think I had the 8th pick. And I had one different position in each of my first 4 picks. So it was, I can't remember the players. It was definitely Kittle in round 4, and I think Jaden Daniels in round 3. No, I think it was Josh Allen in round 3, whatever. But I thought the team was fine. It's easier to do in a 2-receiver league than a 3-receiver. In fact, I'd borderline recommend it in a 2-receiver league. But 3-receiver league, you're not going to love your wide receiver depth. There's no question. But I'm fine with it. Dan, any comments on that?
Again, like I feel like this year it's set up better, at least in my mind, to go running backs early and build it out that way, because I really like the depth at receiver in that 4 to 6 range. There are some backs to take in that range, but I just find myself enjoying my builds more when I go running back early, which never was the case.
It might be almost better to just be balanced, because
yeah,
what you're seeing is like round 2 is very mixed, because you're getting at the top end of round 2 anyone from Brian Thomas, Nico Collins, Amon-Ra St. Brown, AJ Brown, Drake London, right? We typically see 4 guaranteed receivers in the first round, right? And then the next group is mixed. Once you get to Neighbors, like anybody after Neighbors could be a round 1 or round 2 pick.
Okay.
Through London. Agreed?
yeah.
London's not going to go in round 1 or Brown.
No. But what I'm saying is from post Neighbors through London.
Ooh, post Neighbors drip. Team name.
No.
Yes, Jamie, I agree.
Or post nasal drip. That's crazy. You had a good one the other day.
Make Loveland, not Warren.
The pod. Yeah, that one. Make Loveland, not Warren. That was a great one.
Thank you.
I was listening to the pod. It's one of your best.
So post Neighbors through London, right? That's back end of round 1, beginning of round 2. So you could see 2 or 3 of those guys in round 2.
Maybe.
Right?
Yeah.
Then you get through the round 2 running backs, which could be everybody from potentially Genty, Henry, Jacobs, Taylor, Chase Brown, Bucky Irving, Kyron Williams. Correct?
Yep.
That's basically round 2. So you can come away with running back, receiver, running back, your first 2 picks. Let's just say that's something you want to do. You get to round 3. This is where it gets messy, because now the round 3 wide receivers are anyone from T. Higgins, Lad McConkey, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson, JSN. Like, those are the guys that are going to be in the round 3 mix. Maybe Mike Evans now if Chris Godwin's out for extended period of time. The round 3 running backs are looking a little bit more attractive now, because now James Cook is signed, Ken Walker if he's healthy, Amarian Hampton if there's no Najee Harris, and then maybe you're going to push up Travion Henderson or potentially RJ Harvey. I don't think they're round 3 picks, but they're in that conversation now. So if you want to just sort of play it with taking out the quarterbacks and the tight ends, like, it's not a bad way to go running back, receiver, running back with your first 4 picks, and you might be in a good spot that way, as opposed to just committing to one strategy. You know me, I'm a hero RB guy, but like, this feels like it might be a better route to go.
Yeah, it was easier to be a hero RB guy when I felt confident that I could get Travion Henderson in round 5. Can't do that anymore, most likely. But
what if that's now, forget it's Henderson. What if that's in, whatever your preference is, if that's now Kamara, or that's Breece Hall if he falls, or if that's James Conner or DeAndre Swift or Chuba.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'd be fine with most of that. I just don't know that it'll happen. I think might make, the wide receivers fall a little bit if it's just one player, Henderson and Harvey. Henderson and Harvey, 2 players, they get pushed up. But whatever. There are different ways to go about it. I don't know that I would set out to go running back, receiver, quarterback, tight end, but I think it could work, especially if you crush it with Kittle. Now, I have a question though. What's better? Wide receiver in round 1, Brock Bowers, Jaden Daniels, and then a running back in round 4, which could be Travion Henderson. So in other words, would you rather have Bowers and Henderson or round 2 running back? I don't know if I guess I could say Jacobs and Kittle.
I think there's a bigger drop. Well, I wouldn't say a bigger drop off, because I'm not taking a tight end if I'm not taking Bowers and McBride. I'm just waiting, because there's so many good late round tight ends to target, like a slew of them. But ultimately, like, if you pass up on those running backs Jamie outlined, or the receivers that are up top there, you're going to have a huge drop off, to me at least. Like Henderson, I get the hype. I understand him. He's not in that same range. I don't think he's going to get the same kind of volume.
Okay.
Why are you why are you not putting Kittle higher or more emphasis?
Oh, Kittle belongs potentially in that mix of McBride Bowers. My issue with Kittle, and it's just something I can't get over, is his age and injury history. but he should have crazy stats if he stays healthy, and he should definitely pay it off. I definitely won't. I know Laporta's hurt now, but I think that's a terrible pick to make. Anything Laporta, Hawkinson, that range of tight ends, I think you're just burning a draft pick.
Okay, this
But you're
is
a Kelsey guy, though, right?
Sherm.
I am a Kelsey guy, but I've
Can we move
fallen
on?
off on Kelsey. I'm fine because there's too much love. There's too much good stuff at the end.
All right, let's move on. This is from Sherm. Dear Sam, John, Edison, and Benjamin.
No.
Benjamin?
Yeah.
Don't
is this
know
not
it.
Game of Thrones?
Benjamin is Game of Thrones, but
So are Sam and John. Who the heck is
Sam
Edison?
John Edison. So I definitely, I mean, like you hit it all people at the wall, I guess, the people who were up at the wall, but I don't remember Edison.
Oh, Edison is Edison Tollett. He is a steward of the Night's Watch and a close
Yeah,
friend.
it's all Night's Watch, but I don't remember Edison for some reason.
You'd know him if you saw him.
Okay.
Flying to LA from the East Coast for my fantasy football draft. What's the farthest you have traveled for a draft?
For a draft?
Yeah, for me, it was about 10 minutes to Quaker Tavern last year for the auction. Now I'm doing it in my house, so I'm not traveling at all.
New York for me, I guess, would be the farthest I've traveled for a draft.
When's your draft? Maybe I'll come up auctioneer and we'll play another match.
Oh, it's Tuesday, September 2nd. I'd be happy to do that.
It's going to be tough in a work day, but we'll see.
All right.
We were debating that because you guys were in the time crunch, that if
we would have went and played it. I heard you guys. Yeah, we would have went and played it on a court. I told Adam, let's go find a public court and we'll just finish it.
Right.
There.
That's what I thought you would have done. But then how legitimate would you have acknowledged if Adam had beaten you?
Oh, if he beats me, I'm going to just tell everyone like if he earns a win, it has to be said like he beat me. I know he's thinking now after yesterday's match that he's going to beat me next year. He said after the match in the post game, I think I can beat Dan. Last year I didn't feel like I could. I just feel like on any given day I can beat Dan. I don't think so. I think if looking back on the match, I think that my lack of stamina by playing in an indoor enclosed 1,000,000-degree court played a big role because I wasn't able to come to net and I wasn't attacking. I watched the first set. He's like, oh, I played so bad in the first set. I don't know about that. I felt like I was hitting the ball really well, hitting it really deep and being able to come to net because I'm hitting at depth. You said, Jamie, like I wasn't coming to net in the second set because I was tired. It was less of that. It was more of I just wasn't hitting with good depth to come. You can only come to net if you're hitting with good depth. And I was not getting good depth on my ground strokes in the second set.
But I also said in the podcast that we did on Friday morning, that one of the reasons you got tired was because I was playing better. I was moving you all over the court. I was hitting harder.
Good point. You were.
I
don't think it was the main reason I was tired, but you are.
But if I make as much improvement from year 2 to year 3 as I did from year 1 to year 2, and you basically stay the same, you're going to be in trouble next year.
If that happens, I feel like the jump you made is crazy. I don't know how you could take that same kind of jump year over year. I feel like you'll plateau at some. It's like golf. Like you got to plateau at some point.
No, because I have to develop a net game. If I had a net game, I could have won that match. That's what it is.
Won that match? You lost 6-0 in the first set.
I could have easily. Jamie, you saw it. How many points did I give away at the net?
Both ways.
You lose a set 6-0. You are not winning a match against.
Well, no, I obviously could have won the second set, and then we're going to a third set tiebreak.
He would have beat you if you went to a third set.
No, he wouldn't have. I know you think that, Jamie, but just think about the 4-4 game. I dug deep and I won that game.
Same point down.
You were gassed.
I was gassed. I had literally nothing left. I was getting the chills. I thought I was going to pass. That was bad, dude. Like I thought I was going to pass out. I'm like embarrassed quite literally since Adam dealt with that heat so fine. I guess I told my brother after the match, I guess I got to start doing like HIT training or something like, cause I must be in worse shape than I realize.
See here's this is the fascinating thing to me about this, because Adam is going to make an effort to play more tennis.
Yes.
You are not going to make an effort. You'll play more tennis, but you prefer golf. So you're going to play, you're going to play more golf.
100%.
The caveat to all of this is that Adam's children are getting to a point where they have a lot of activities that he's going to have to be torn on. This is why I stopped playing softball, because my kids, I had to take them to activity after activity. It's just like, I can't. And so at what point does Adam, the dad, get in the way of Adam, the tennis player, and then doesn't get the opportunity to make that next step? Now, this is where Adam's commitment level comes to the game. You know, if he's really that much into it.
No, this is more important.
Well, I heard you make one comment yesterday, Jamie. that like you thought like I might be sandbagging it. Last year when I played the first match against Adam, I literally had only played 2 or 3 times. This year, I never said I was only playing 2. I played like, I look back on it. I played with my one friend that's good 5 times this summer. And then I played with my dad a bunch and my brother, like doubles, family doubles. That is not the same. Like Adam's playing USTA matches. Like,
Yeah, but I was
like,
playing down. The USTA matches actually held me back.
Okay.
Because when I was playing against my friends who were actually really good, that helped. The USTA matches held me back because I was playing 3-0 doubles, and I'm like a 3-7-5 basically. So those were not challenges for me.
And I will say this: in next year's match, I will force him to hit more backhands. He ran around that backhand the entire match.
My backhand was fine yesterday. It was
what?
Fine. My backhand was fine.
You hit like 3 total backhands the whole match. What do you mean?
I hit plenty of backhand. In fact, I hit a very.
You were running around your backhand the whole match.
Yeah. Well, who wouldn't run around their backhand? I've got a really good forehand. But on the last point of the match, which I give you a ton of credit for, I had a very good, very short backhand.
Yeah, I got to.
I set me up for a wide open court. I missed it somehow.
You had too much.
We should have been at deuce. I had game point in that. It should have been 5-5, and I blew it. At 5-all, I feel good about my chances to win the set, and I feel great about my chances to win the tiebreaker. So I easily could have won that match.
If it went through a third set, you were done, Dan. I don't care what you said.
I know. It would have been tough. I was really
if we got to a third set, the match would have been over because I was not going to let him play because he thought he was going to die.
It was bad at one point. I was getting the chills. The thing is, I don't know if it was dehydration because I was drinking a lot at the breaks. I don't know.
It was super hot. No, I mean, I guess I'm in better shape than I realized. All right, here's a question from Mike. 12-team redraft snake allows team to trade draft picks prior to the draft. You can't trade future picks, and you must receive the same number of picks you trade away. Like I'll trade you picks 15 and 34 in exchange for 5 and 100. In 20 years, no one in our league has ever actually used this rule. I think it would be fun to orchestrate the first ever draft pick trade. How might you value your draft picks? Can you give me a couple of examples of trades that you might offer?
So it's just picks, it's not players.
Yeah. We got to hurry up here, guys.
I would say if you want to give up a first round pick, you should probably get at least a third round pick in return. So your first for a third, and maybe like I always think it's fair to do 2 for 2. So like a first and a 10 for like 3 and a 6, something along those lines.
Okay. Let's go to Kevin from Queen City. I have the 7th pick in a 10-team league, PPR. In the unlikely event Achan falls to me in round 2, I guess that would be 14th overall.
Yeah.
Is it too risky to go CMC and Achan in full PPR?
No.
Not for me, but as you guys know from listening, I'm much higher on CMC than consensus. So I just find that to be really good upside. You're getting the potential of by far and away the 2 most likely running backs in the draft pool to lead this next season in receptions.
Right. Yeah. That could be 180 catches easily.
Yeah.
And I think 10-team leagues, like you want to swing for the fences. You want to take the most upside potential that you can get because A, you have to separate yourself from a very talented league. B, it's easy to recover. So you're going to find the waiver wire being a lot more friendly to you than it is in a 12-team league. So our 10-team league last week, which I don't think we spent any time talking about, you know me, I'm not taking quarterbacks early. I'm not taking quarterback and tight end early. I took Bowers in round 2. I took Jaden Daniels round 4. Now, granted, quarterbacks fall a little bit more in our league. So let's say that was maybe Joe Burrow or Jalen Hurts. But like, I want to have the opportunity to have a positional advantage and maybe significant. And that's why taking Bowers in round 2 or McBride in round 2, I think is so important in a 10-team league.
You took Daniels 35th overall. So that's not too far past his ADP. This one is from Eric W. How do you handle ADP when drafting offline and everyone uses different rankings? Tiers, are you tier based all the way? Does it change your preferred draft spot? So I guess you don't have rankings in front of you. How does this change things? Or you don't have like the draft room in front of you.
Nobody has rankings, or you just take pick about what your rankings.
Everyone uses different rankings, he says. So pick what you want.
I don't know, Dan, you could speak to this. I know Chris Towers used to do this.
Yeah.
Does somebody for us still do a ADP review of other sites?
No, we haven't done that in a few years since Chris. It's actually not a bad take. I
think Heath might have done it.
Did Heath do it last year? Maybe.
No, he didn't do it last year, but he's done it in the past, I think.
Listen, you have to figure out who you trust. first and foremost. You know, you trust me, Dave, Heath, you trust our consensus rankings, you trust ESPN, you trust Yahoo, whoever the case may be. And you're going to get some great values. You're going to see some players that shock the hell out of you in your draft. It's just the nature of it, you know, and this is why we did this draft. We've done 4 drafts with St. Jude donations. It's all of our listeners and me every time. I think Adam's done one of them. There have been wild picks, and it's the most fun drafts we do because we did a super flex draft today. Yeah, it changed a little bit. There's a couple different people drafting with us. When it's me, Dan, Adam, Heath, Dave, Jacob, Thomas, like I knew exactly when I saw who was up. Thomas was taking Jordan Mason, not just because he's a Vikings fan, because I know he's going to take Jordan Mason in that range. I knew Adam's going to take this guy because he follows my rankings to a T. I knew that Dan was going to take this guy. Jacob's going to take Colson Loveland. Like it's easy I can map it out. Like if you told me to sit down, this is how it's going to go. I could probably get it within about 70% accurate out of the draft, right? You think you could probably do that?
Yeah.
At this point, so we did the St. Jude draft Tuesday. Josh Jacobs went in the first round. What? Justin Jefferson fell to 11. What? Like, okay, now we got to adjust. And that's the fun of it. So every draft is a living organism. Take it for what it's worth. But I think if you're going to go into this, pick the analyst that you trust the most, the ranking list that you trust the most, and follow it to however closely you want to.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, finally, we'll show you Dan's sandwich, read some of your emails, some of your Apple Podcast questions, and your YouTube comments. We'll be right back.
Here we go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver touchdown.
Filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year.
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns. And an epic matchup between the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Clear your Sundays beginning September 7th for the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
Jeez, I'm just seeing in the chat that people now are calling hot dogs glizzies.
Yeah, where have you been?
Where have you been? Are you serious or
I've been
joking?
eating hot dogs.
You've never heard the term glizzy?
No, I never have, and
Years old.
I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
I don't love it either, but the fact that you haven't heard it is more concerning than anything else.
All right, let's see what you ate for dinner last night. All right, on the left we have
I
Adam's
got a quick
meal.
story about it.
So I had a nice chicken parm sub. It was really good. I finished it today. A lot of cheese, very cheesy. The fries at the Mount Kisco Diner are unbeatable. Dan, what the hell did you eat yesterday?
So first of all, the last time we went to this Mount Kisco Diner, it's basically like a place that has crazy sandwiches, crazy things. I got something called the Jersey Shore, which had like fried ravioli, chicken cutlet, mozzarella sticks, marinara, all that stuff. And then this time we go over there and Adam's like, I'm going to do it this time, guys. Because Adam ordered like last year, Adam ordered like steamed rice, chicken teriyaki, hold the teriyaki sauce.
Shut up.
I'm joking a little bit, but it was pretty much on par. He's like, I'm going to do it this year. I'm going to get one of these crazy sandwiches. I'm going to just go all out. We just we just grinded through 2 sets. We burned it all off. And he just orders like a regular chicken parm. Like it looks great. And it probably was great, but like I thought he was finally going to go all in. And I went all in again. I ordered another one of their crazy sandwiches. This was chopped cheese. Had to be 2,000 calories. It was chopped on a sub roll, on a toasted sub roll. I think garlic something, like garlic butter or something. It was chopped cheese, chopped onion rings, mozzarella sticks, brown gravy, French fries. And I think one other thing.
Is it a burger or no?
Chopped cheese, which means burger chopped up.
Oh,
It's a
I didn't
New
know
York
that.
thing. Yeah, you should know that as a New Yorker. It's burger chopped up, and then American cheese, and I think mozzarella cheese as well. It basically reminded me of, for those who remember, Rutgers. Remember the grease trucks at Rutgers, like those fat sandwiches that now everyone's kind of stolen the idea. It's just like all fried food on a sandwich. It was unbelievable, by the way. It tasted so great. I ate every last bit of it. Felt horrible after eating it. Driving home for an hour and a half, a ridiculously tough drive. And let's just say the toilet has been in use this morning.
Oh, jeez. I took mine home for seconds. You want to know why I had more stamina in the second set there? I ate mine in 2 settings. Dan ate that whole thing. Unbelievable. Yeah, but I'm glad you liked it. It's such a great place. If you're ever in
Such
town,
a great diner.
go to the Mount Kisco Diner. All right. Question from Jim. Subject line is CeeDee Lamb, 2nd overall. Am I crazy? I'm in a half PPR league in the 2nd spot. I've been doing mock drafts, and I like the running back depth that falls much more than the wide receiver depth in rounds 2 and 4. If Chase goes 1, that leaves Lamb, Jamie.
If Chase goes 1, that leaves Lamb 2. Yeah, Lamb's my second receiver.
No, but he's saying he wants to take him over Bijan Robinson because he likes the running backs in rounds 2 and 3 better.
I'm sorry. We had this question with your tennis pro yesterday. He asked the same thing because he said he's a CD Lamb fan, and he wants to trade down because he wants Lamb. But he said everybody in his league knows he's a CD Lamb fan, and so they don't want to trade with him because they know he's going to probably take Lamb at 2. Look, I can't fault you when Lamb's my third overall player to say don't take him at 2. If you feel like you're better off coming off your draft, coming out of your first 3 rounds, going Lamb, Chase Brown, Kyron Williams, some combination of that. Like, that's hard to overlook if you feel that way.
Yeah, don't be afraid to go off
versus Bijan, maybe T. Higgins, Lab McConkey.
Just have to ask yourself, just answer it by yourself. Are you at all concerned about George Pickens taking something away from CeeDee Lamb? Nobody really seems to be, but he's just never had, since he's broken out the last 3 years, he's never had a good wide receiver opposite him.
But to your point with that, what has Justin Jefferson been with Jordan Addison last year?
Not as good. Last year, he scored his fewest fantasy points per game in the last like 4 seasons, and he had his lowest target per route run rate, maybe of his career, or maybe just like the last few years. But that was also a half a year of Hawkinson too.
True.
All right. This is from Dave and Flint. I'm re-listening to the tight end breakout episode, and I hear Jamie say he would take one of the top tight ends in the second round of a 2-receiver league. But here's my question and where I need clarity. I'm in a 10-team 2-receiver league with 2 flexes, and it's half PPR. I pick at number 8. So I've been taking a running back wide receiver approach, usually Achane at 1.8 and then a top wide receiver after that. But with Jamie's comment, is it smarter for me to take one of the top tight ends at 2.8 instead of a wide receiver? Now, again, this is 10 teams, 2 receivers, but 2 flexes and half PPR.
So the draft we did, if you want to take a look at it, was a full PPR, so a little bit different. And I had the 6th pick as opposed to the 8th pick. I will say this. If you think you can get Kittle in round 3, then pass on the tight end, and hopefully Kittle falls back to you. I just think at that position, more so than quarterback, if I can get one of the top 3 guys, I'm going to try and do it every time. Looking at what Bowers, McBride, and Kittle can do compared to the field. Like Dan said it best, the late round tight ends could be fantastic. And one of those guys is going to have probably a 12-plus point per game season, whether it's Kraft or the rookies.
Right.
Or I just read something while you guys were discussing the food, how much Josh Allen is looking for Dalton Kincaid. Like, he could surprise us like we thought he was going to do it last year. Whatever the case may be. The Jonnu Smith season, put it that way. So you'll hit on somebody, and maybe it's Laporta or Njoku or one of these other guys that, we're kind of a little concerned about. I just think in a 10-team league, forget about the flexes. There's so many good running backs and wide receivers you should be able to get. And I'll just reference the team that I drafted quickly. It was Lamb in round 1, Bowers round 2, Jonathan Taylor round 3, Jaden Daniels round 4.
Wow.
My 2 flexes are Alvin Kamara and Tony Pollard, because I kept sort of passing on receiver a little bit too much. My number 2 receiver is Jalen Waddle. I don't love that in a 10-team league. Think he'll be fine, but I don't love it. Obviously, Tyreek's there versus not there is different. But I can make that work. I'm not going to find a tight end like Brock Bowers.
True.
I'm not.
Number 2 receiver is Jalen Waddle. I don't know. I mean, there's only one pick I think you made that. There's only one player that went after Bowers in this 10-team PPR league that I think it was a mistake. I think you should have taken Brian Thomas Jr. over Brock Bowers. And then St. Brown was after that, and maybe I would have done that too. I get what you're going for here, but the fact that Jalen Waddle is your wide receiver too is really scary to me. In a 10-team league, how the hell did that happen? Oh, because you have Daniels and Bowers. I don't know. I'm surprised. I know how much you like. I get it. I totally get it. It's in a smaller format, tight end. Get that elite tight end. It's better. I'm surprised you took him over Brian Thomas Jr.
In a 12-team league, I wouldn't have done it. In a 3-receiver league, I wouldn't have done it. In a 2-receiver league, I'm gonna play. Wait, like Jacoby Myers is also another guy on my roster. Like, I'll make that work.
Yeah, all right, I get it. It makes sense. All right, Dan, I'm gonna give you this one.
Okay.
Dear Michael, Fiona, Sam, and Jesse.
Michael, Fiona, Sam, and Jesse. Oh man, I really should know that, right? Michael.
I think this is Shameless.
Oh, it is Shameless.
No,
Shameless. Watched a couple seasons.
Burn Notice.
Totally jumped ship.
Oh, it's Burn Notice. Shameless is good.
Never saw Burn Notice. Shameless,
right.
very little overrated.
10-team PPR Superflex. Keep 2 at no cost. This is really interesting because where does Baker Mayfield rank in a Superflex league?
10 team, you said? Okay.
Yep. PPR. Baker Mayfield, Drake London, Brian Thomas Jr., Trey McBride, Josh Jacobs.
Mayfield, London, Brian Thomas Jr., Trey McBride, and Josh Jacobs. How many do I get to keep?
2 at no cost.
I think I'm probably keeping London and Brian Thomas, honestly. I'm not worried about filling quarterbacks in a 10-team Superflex.
Okay. This is from Steven. Have your dynasty rookie draft rankings changed with training camp and preseason developments? I have a rookie draft tomorrow with the second pick, 1 QB league, full PPR. Would you still take Hampton, or are you considering Henderson now?
I would still take Hampton over Henderson for sure. Dynasty.
Hampton for sure, just because we viewed Najee as a 1-year situation anyway,
Right.
and you might not have that 1 year, or at least the majority of the 1 year. So it's just crazy that Najee, 4 years, does not miss a game, and now he may start on the NFL list. Like, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would keep Hampton. What's changed really is like Caleb Johnson and Quinshon Judkins. Like, those 2 guys were sort of staples as mid-round picks, and it's pretty easy at this point. Format matters, but like Abuka ahead of them and Golden ahead of them, I think pretty easily.
All right, let's get some Apple Podcast questions going on here.
I really love it. Back-to-back years in your league, I've taken Jonathan Brooks and Quinshon Judkins my first 2 picks.
Yeah. Well, you're still better
The
than
Big Burger.
Yeah.
We refer to that as Adams League now.
Well, of course, it's Adams League. I'll never get over what he did to me with waivers last year.
It was crazy. And then the fact that he tried to pass a rule through the message board earlier this year, he really has taken a lot of liberties that most commissioners wouldn't.
All right, I have a question. Jamie said, I can't get over what he did to me on waivers.
Yeah.
Dan said, it is crazy. Dan, what did I do? I knew it. I love it. All right, next, let's go to our Apple Podcast.
Well played.
Dynasty question. Start one of these tight ends week 1. Holy cow. Kyle Pitts, Pat Freiermuth, or Jake Ferguson week 1?
Jake Ferguson.
Are we sure we're not going to start Pitts if Mooney's out?
I'm not going to start Pitts. Still, they need to see stuff from Pitts before I start Pitts again.
All right, here's one from TB1. What would your strategy be in a league with half a point per pass attempt, 1 point per completion, half a point per rush attempt, 1 point per reception, and that's it? I have the number 1 pick, and it's 2 running backs, 3 receivers, and a flex. So you get half a point per pass attempt, 1 point per completion, but you also get half a point per carry, and it's PPR.
A half PPR or full PPR?
Full.
Joe Burrow is 1 overall.
Yeah, so I think the first and most important thing is you move up the pocket quarterbacks who are in offenses that are going to throw a lot. And first thing I would do is sort by attempts last year and then try to adjust for how you think these teams and offenses will adjust or what things will change in 2025. That's on you. And I could help with that. Any of us could help with that, but you do move down the rushing quarterbacks. A Justin Fields type loses a ton of value, I think, in this format. But I also feel like running backs are a lot more valuable than receivers in this format, despite the 1 point reception, because they could still get receptions too, but they're going to get a half point for every carry. And they're likely, especially these workhorse running backs, I would push tons of those guys up the board. I'd be very running back heavy in this draft.
It negates the Henry versus Achane, for example. Like, Achane's still extremely valuable, but like Henry closes the gap, if not is better than him easily.
Okay, question from Shaner. In a league with novice players who fill their roster with each position before selecting bench spots, how would you navigate your draft? Would you draft best player available and fill your bench before going with quarterback or tight end? What would you do? How would you adjust, Dan, in that situation?
Okay, one more time, say that.
Yeah, in a league with novice players who fill their roster with each position before selecting the bench, how would you adjust?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I don't think you have to really adjust or do anything. You just have to keep your key thing is you don't take pass on tight end, take a late round tight end, pass on quarterback, take a late round quarterback, because those positions are getting filled and there's still going to be players. It's 32 start every week and you only have 10 or 12 teams starting one of them per week, and you just load up on receivers and running backs. That's what I would do.
Please
No.
let this be true.
No.
Please.
No.
Oh God,
What's
really?
back there?
It's paper towels. Paper towels.
Oh, jeez. There's a comment in the chat. Is
I
that
have-
It doesn't look like paper towels.
It is
really
paper
looks
towels.
like
I mean,
toilet
you know
paper.
what? Let me confirm this just so we're
Is
clear.
that extra toilet paper on your countertop, Dan? He says it's paper towels. What do we got? Paper towel, paper towel. Oh, that is too damn funny.
At some point I'm gonna have to figure this background thing out. I don't have much.
No,
to
this
work
is
with on this
perfect.
house.
Get the refrigerator magnets like you talked about.
Okay.
All right. I think that's it. Maybe this one. I think that's it for Apple Podcast. You remember if we read this one? I'm in a redraft league where you can keep one rookie each year and they stay in the same round they were drafted. No round penalty. How much earlier do you typically take a rookie in that format? Would that make someone like Hampton a third round pick?
So you keep them forever?
Yeah, he said, here are some rookie keepers that are already locked in. Malik Neighbors in the 4th, Jaden Daniels in the 9th, McConkey in the 7th, Brian Thomas Jr. in the 8th, Nix in the 13th, Bowers in the 9th.
I think in this type of league, I'd be, any decision that I may have. So like, let's say it's Kamara versus Harvey. I'd lean Harvey. If it's Tet versus Pickens, I'd lean McMillan, or Tet versus
Jameson Williams.
Yeah, any of those guys.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Thank you for your question. All right. YouTubers, let's go. Wait, I haven't seen. Okay. He's saying, RB is saying Lamb's schedule to start the season is so difficult. Let's get that schedule out. Is it difficult?
Philly week 1.
They don't have an easy schedule in general. Dallas is one thing I'm concerned about. And I'm very high on their pass game. Other than that,
I think this is the right time for me to make a bold prediction here. Now, there are some bold predictions that I actually believe and will base draft strategy on. I'll give you 2 from last year. One terrible, one good. One was Chris Godwin will be better than Mike Evans. One was Derrick Henry will be the biggest bust in fantasy.
Who said that? You?
Me. These are both 2 of my bold predictions. And I believed them and I drafted that way. This one I won't. This one's too bold that I won't draft this way. But one of my, I could see it happening is Dallas has a terrible year. They're a mess. Their offense is not good. And they basically begin a rebuilding phase. And this era of good Dallas Cowboys football is about to be over.
How does that impact fantasy?
As it impacts everyone in fantasy, particularly Dak.
If they're bad, I feel like they're going to throw a lot.
No, I mean, their offense will be bad because what I was saying is
their offense will be bad.
Their offense was something like 20th in points per game last year when Dak Prescott was healthy. They were struggling. People forget that. Lamb was struggling. Lamb had that 4th quarter against the 49ers on Sunday night, I think, and he had a huge game. But go look at his game log. I mean, that guy was disappointing for much of the
Hold out.
Right? And they have no run game. Their offensive line looking right now like it's going to be the worst one they've had in a very long time.
Good point.
I just don't like what's going on. I really don't like.
Steinheimer does not have a good track record.
The only thing I'll push back on is you could be right, but we could see a lot of garbage time.
And that's why I'm not they got Pickens. I think adding Pickens is really good for them.
Yes.
But that's why I'm not drafting.
If they didn't get Pickens, I'd be more on board with your take. But I think with Pickens and a quarterback like Dak, who's just so good at processing, that's going to be a really tough stop for defenses.
I hope he's a little bit more mobile than he was last year because he wasn't running and he was getting sacked a lot.
I don't think he'll need to be. I think part of that was because there was no one but Lamb to get the football to. And now he has someone else. And that's going to be really difficult for defenses to play a safety over the top of both of those players.
All right. Well, it was just a thought. Again, I'm not
a bad thought. All your points were strong. Their O-line is the worst it's been.
And Micah Parsons, what his status is right now. Secondary may not be that good.
Yeah, as much as like people pick on the Cowboys, they've been a very successful team.
Their expectations are just so high that it feels unsuccessful.
They just don't have playoff.
Yeah. But since they drafted Romo, they've been probably one of the better teams in football. They just never got over the hump, but it feels a little precarious right now. All right, here's a question. 10-team half PPR Superflex League. How many running backs, wide receivers, flex, and bench spots would you set up here in a 10-team half PPR Superflex League?
The entire.
Yeah.
I would say you should have, if you're playing a kicker and defense, you should have quarterback, 2 running backs, at least 2 receivers, if not 3. I would go 3 in a 10-team league. 1 flex, or if you go 2 receivers, go 2 flex, super flex, and 6 bench spots.
Works for me.
Tight end.
Oh yeah. 14 team, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex PPR league. Sounds like our podcast league. Should I keep Drake London in the second or late second, or Xavier Worthy late 5th?
London.
Kittle or Hurts at the 3-4 turn? Half PPR.
12 team. I think Kittle for me. Yeah. If Kittle stays healthy, he's going to be unbelievable in fantasy. So I want to make that clear. I just am a little concerned with the age and the injury history.
He's a mid-third round pick.
That's a ridiculous comment.
Physical.
Look at this comment from Ben. Cowboys haven't been good in a while.
I told you expectations are like they don't know what it's like to be like a Giants fan, right? Like that's a team that hasn't been good in a while, right?
Bears fan, yeah, Titans.
Right. Yeah,
fan,
it's like those are real. If you're talking about good that haven't been good in a while, that applies to those teams more than the Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean they haven't won the Super Bowl, but man, since they drafted Tony Romo, what's their record? I'm gonna look. I'm gonna see if I can
definitely over 500 by
way
a
over,
lot.
way over. How about Adam won the tennis match? I agree with that.
No, he didn't. Farts. No, he didn't. 6-0-6-4.
First year, 12-team half PPR. First year with keepers. I have the 7th pick. I'm keeping Neighbors in the 5th. Should I try to trade my 2nd-round pick for Bowers?
Keeper league, I'm good with it because I feel like that's great value in a keeper league where everyone kind of gets pushed up the board.
Yep.
Yeah, some people pointing out, Romo was undrafted. Sorry about that.
Yeah, UDFA, Northern Illinois, right? Or one of those Illinois.
Congrats, Adam, on winning the tennis match. Thank you very much.
What is going on with this? He lost the match. He lost the first at 6-0.
When you make calls like that, of course
There were no bad calls. The marks were all there. I invited you to come look at the marks, the ball marks.
3 receiver PPR league from the 12th pick. The dream start is Achan Nico. But if Nico's gone, I'm tempted to go Achan Genty. I hate the wide receivers at the 3-4 turn, so I end up 0 wide receiver. Is running back too risky? And do I need to force someone like Evans at the 3-4 turn?
I would prefer Achan, Thomas, St. Brown, Puka personally. But if you feel like, that receiving group, which could be anybody from JSN, we've seen him fall there, JSN, Garrett Wilson, Mike Evans, then we're starting to get into the Cortland Sutton, DK Metcalf, Marvin Harrison group. So it's just really how you feel about those receivers. I personally, in the 3 receiver league, would want to come away with one of those wide receivers in the first 2 rounds.
All right, keep talking. I'm doing some math here.
Look, if you do take Genty, you have a pretty strong advantage. But again, for me, like you're getting a gift with HM falling to 12.
Right.
I would take one of those receivers. So yes, Nico's the dream start, but I would still lean receiver.
Agreed.
So the Cowboys have averaged 9.3 wins since Romo became the full-time starter in 2007.
That's in the 16 games season back.
And that includes and that includes a 6-10 season when John Kitna was their primary starter.
They've
2 injury seasons.
Includes a 4-12 season when Matt Castle was their primary starter.
2 injury play seasons for Dak.
We're talking about it. Yeah. We're talking about a 10-win team when their quarterbacks have been healthy. They've been wildly successful. In fact,
right. It's just people judge it based on playoff success.
I would hilariously say that Jerry Jones is the most underrated GM in football because
ridiculous.
No,
he's not the GM.
Well, their front office is
Will McClay is the guy who's behind the scenes, and he does a very good job evaluating talent.
Yeah, their front office is extremely underrated. As silly as they are,
Will McClay, but you're right.
Now, all the contract stuff that they have been bungling the last few years, I can't defend. But
that's mostly because they just have too much talent because they've drafted well.
They've drafted really well, and not only that, I think they actually. By the way, this is 2 Giants fans talking nicely about the Cowboys. You should take it seriously. I think they actually started a trend of teams valuing interior offensive linemen and offensive linemen in general, but interior offensive linemen more highly, and realizing that you can build successful teams with those first round.
Yeah, Frederick, Zach Martin this year. Obviously, they took the kid from Alabama. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name. The big dude in the night. Who'd you say?
Guyton, was it?
No, Guyton was last year, 2 years ago. What was the kid from Alabama, the guard? He was the strongest player in the class in the interior. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name. Kid from Alabama.
All right, go on your Giants podcast to talk
We
about
love we love the Cowboys. We love the Cowboys. And yes, it is pointed out that in the movie Little Giants, the Cowboys still lost.
You're damn right they did. Great movie. One of the very few ones I've seen in my life, and movies, that is.
Yeah. I think I told you the story, but I was watching that movie like a year ago.
Oh, this is becoming your tennis match. Let's go. Finish it.
Oh, leave. I don't care. Leave. I was watching that movie with my son, and the Cowboys were winning like 21-0 at halftime, so he decided to start rooting for the Cowboys, not realizing the movie was called Little Giants, so what was inevitably going to happen. And he had an absolute panic attack when the Giants came back and won. It was crying hysterically. All right.
Good. He learned a lesson that day. Don't root for the Cowboys. We're Giants fans in this house. I was really disappointed yesterday when I went back on the stream and I heard Dave was a Jets fan.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah. At some point, I decided to be a Giants fan and not a Jets fan. It was the best decision.
Was your dad a Jets fan?
Not a football fan. Well, not a team fan.
Oh, you had to pick your own teams. That's how this happened.
Not a fan of people.
No, I love that. Not a fan of people. I love the behind the scenes few stories I've heard about Adam's dad.
He's just quirky. He's a fan of people. He's not a talker.
I've heard he's grumpy.
He's not grumpy. He's just quirky.
Quirky. Okay.
We used to call him Happy Ron as a
clearly not the sarcastic way to call someone who's definitely not grumpy.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll talk to you on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Too. That's amazing.
Enjoy preseason football. See you later.